You're a mum, you're a mum, you're a busy mum. Come listen to the Busy Mum podcast. Life hacks and inspiration for the busy modern mum.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Busy Mum podcast. Just before we get into this interview, I will be releasing new episodes each Monday morning, just like clockwork. Also, if you don't want to miss an episode, subscribe to my iTunes channel, The Busy Mum Podcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. Just search The Busy Mum and you should find me there. Now, a word from our sponsor. Do you find that you hop in the shower, you're enjoying the lovely hot water dripping down all over your body, relaxation, no interruptions from the kids, and you think, yeah, I'm going to shave my legs now. You just pick up your razor and it's in just the most rubbish condition. It's rusted, it's full of soap scum or shaving cream, or even your husband has grabbed it and shaved his face and not cleaned it out. Gross. But you clean it out a little bit, you give it a go, and you end up cutting your legs, and now they look worse than when they were just a little bit hairy. Well, now thanks to Pins, the latest and greatest women's leg shaving company, you can have them delivered straight to your door. New razors all the time. But not only do they have razors with 6 blades plus 4 extra cartridges in the pack, but they also have a clear shave gel, which is slippery as hell and moisturizes to boot. The gel also allows you to see exactly what you are shaving, which is great for those pits and private bits. I've been using them now for at least 6 months and am loving it. Check them out at www.pinnspins.com.au. And don't forget to use the Busy Mum podcast code, BusyMum, to get 15% off your first purchase. In today's episode of the Busy Mum podcast, I speak with Jenny Vanderhoek of Mynder.com.au. That's Mynder. Mynder is a babysitting app that you download to your phone to help you find a fantastic babysitter in an instant. Jenny and her team screen each babysitter to ensure that they are of top quality and have all the right working checks for kids. This would have been handy for me a few weeks ago when my regular sitter was unable to help out. Now let's dive in. Well, Jenny, welcome to the Busy Mum podcast. How are you this morning?
Oh, I am so good. So happy to be here.
Yay, it's so good we finally connected. We've had a few little technical issues, but that's all sorted out now. I think I start every episode like this now. It's like, oh, there's something that we haven't done right. But anyway, we keep pushing on. So
exactly.
Just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So I met my husband about 12 years ago. So I'm wife to Jake. He's a builder. So everyone goes, oh, my God, that's so awesome, because that means you must live in some really, really lovely house. We never do, because he constantly makes me move all the time, because he just wants to keep renovating. And then he's like, I think we should sell it and buy something else that I can then work on. So we're forever living in renovation zones.
Renovation nightmare, you mean?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Except I'm his boss, so it's a little bit different. And then we got married about 6 years ago. And then about 4 years ago, we welcomed our first daughter, Mila. She's very, very sassy. She has a lot of attitude, but she's the sweetest little girl ever. And at least she listens to me. So that's a good start. And then a couple of years ago, we welcomed my son, Sebi. So it was my first day. I went back from maternity leave after Mila, and I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, God.
And it was that surprise of being, oh, my God, I'm going back to work today and I am pregnant. I don't even know how far along I am, but I'm pregnant. So that's how we found out that we were going to have Sebi. And so Sebi's a boisterous little boy. I think most boys are. He climbs things, he jumps off things, he pushes his sister. It's just beyond, but he's sweet at the same time. So, yeah, that's my life.
And what do you do for work?
So I have worked in corporate for the last 10 plus years. And then more recently, back in March, I actually acquired a little business called Mynder. So I was a customer of Mynder. So Mynder is essentially an on-demand babysitting app. And I used it so much when I was going through work, because I just have these times where I needed someone and I couldn't get someone. And at the time, my mum couldn't really support because she was still working quite a lot as well. And so that's how I came across Mynder. And then when I thought about going back to work, I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I want to go back and do the 3 days a week, but realistically you're working 5 days, but you're getting paid for 3 days. So instead I wanted to venture out and see what was out there. And I just contacted the lady at Mynder and said, what are you doing?
Oh, hang on a minute.
Hire somebody. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, can you say that bit again? Only because it froze.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So just start from you contacted Mynder.
Yeah, so I contacted the owner of Mynder and I said, what are you doing at the moment? Are you looking for a partner? Are you hiring? I'm looking for a job. And she said, actually, I'm looking to sell. So that's how we started our conversation. And it took us 6 months to get it to March, to when we actually settled on the acquisition of the company. So I'm really excited. I've been in 6 months doing Mynder, and every day has just been, a new learning curve, or some amazing thing happen, and then something may not work out as well as I would hope. So a lot of ups and downs. And I thought I was going to take on a business to give myself a lot more flexibility, which I have. So I've been able to go to things for my kids and all of that. But let me tell you, this is like working 24/7. I am on the ball all the time. So in some aspects, it's been the opposite of what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you kind of go, oh, you've got the flexibility, but you've also got the flexibility to work all the time.
Exactly.
You can work at midnight, you can work at 1 a.m., So, yeah, it's a little bit full on, definitely.
It's so true.
So what is Mynder? Explain to us what it does.
Okay. So Mynder was created for working parents, and the reason why is because we've all been there where we need a babysitter last minute, and we've literally called every single person on our phone that we have in contact, or have messaged every single mum out there to get their recommendations. And also, I guess, it's also when you go back to work and your kids are sick and they can't go to daycare, and you have this, oh my God, what am I going to do? So what Mynder does, it's just a phone app. So you download the phone app, you put in the dates and the times that you need somebody, and it automatically sends a notification out to all our fully screened babysitters. So I actually meet every single person that comes on board. We do interviews with them, we do all the reference checks, we make sure they've got first aid, working with children, and their police check. So we do every single one of those steps before we welcome them. And so when you go and book, you'll instantly get somebody that is basically fully trustworthy, which is something I would want.
Yeah, because I know there are quite a few babysitting Facebook groups and things like that out there, but they put the disclaimer of you need to do your own checks. So this is the differentiator between Mynder and say a Facebook group that has babysitting and nannies and au pairs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But also with those Facebook groups, you could put up and say, I need somebody to come on Saturday night to look after my 2 kids. You get 20 people replying back to you, and then you've still got to sift through and figure out, well, which one am I going to go with based on not much. So one of the cool things about Mynder is we have a photo of our Mynders, we have a video of them, so you can actually hear them talk about themselves and why they want to be a Mynder and why they would love to come and work for you.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit of a paragraph, so you feel like you're already knowing someone before they walk through your door, and not having that moment of, God, I don't even know what she's going to look like. Are you here to deliver my food, or are you here to look after my kids?
Oh my goodness. Yes, well, we've all experienced that, I think. When we moved over from Perth, we're originally from Perth, moved to Sydney, we had no family around, and we had to kind of dive in with the whole babysitting thing, and obviously Mynder wasn't available back then, so we had to go to a few Facebook groups and just meet a few people and do little hour trials, just to see if the kids gelled with a person. It was really stressful, to be honest with you, but it's good that you do those background checks as well, because I find that a lot of them don't do that, so that's kind of left up to you.
Yeah, and it's so important, like in this day and age as well. Like we're all so busy, and we've only got such a limited amount of time, and you still want to get someone really good for your kids. You don't just want to like slack off on the quality just because you're busy.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I'm super passionate about it, as you can tell.
Well, you're invested now, so you've got to also be super
I'm in it for the long haul now.
Yeah, you're done and dusted.
I said to my husband, we're not having a third baby because Mynder is my baby.
That is your baby. Well, if you wanted a third baby, doesn't your husband generally qualify as the third baby as well? Sorry, Ben. My Ben. Sorry.
It was my first baby.
Yeah.
Okay,
so from like on a business side, so this is a question personally for me. How are you making money from Mynder? Is it from like the babysitters coming to you? They have to like pay a fee for you to interview them and put them on, or are you like charging for the app, or do you get a percentage from each job that goes ahead? How are you charging, or do you advertising?
So great question. So to join Mynder is for free for both parents and babysitters. Babysitters will get their standard hourly rate, which they collect from a customer at the end of their booking. I take a booking fee for every single time a family uses me, and the reason for that is because that's obviously to cover the cost of us having to do the checking of all the babysitters and getting you somebody. And it's the use of the app as well. But more importantly, it's also to cover insurance. So insurance is super important. It's all great and good to go onto Facebook and find somebody and you hope that nothing ever happens. But in the situation it does, we have full insurance, the comprehensive insurance that covers every single booking. So that's also what it's all about as well.
Okay, cool. That's very interesting. So are you only based in Sydney because you are screening these people? Is the Mynder app just for Sydney at this stage?
Yeah, we definitely are only in Sydney. I do get inundated with a lot of requests for Queensland. I think they must be really needing it up there in Brisbane. So I do get a lot of requests for other areas, and I am looking to expand into those areas next year. So if you are outside of Sydney, then watch out because I'm coming for you next year.
So just describe for us a day in the life of you, Jenny.
Oh, God, I'm exhausted already, and I think it's only 10 a.m.
Well, you've been up since 5:30.
So usually I get up at 5:30. So I usually wake up. My body just naturally wakes up at 5:30 before my kids even wake up. And I think the reason why it's it goes, this is your 10 minutes of just checking your phone to see what happened overnight. Not that much happens over on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn and all that sort of stuff. But that's where I get a bit of just chill time. I look at my calendar and say, what do I have ahead for the day? Because surely I always miss things. It's like, the kids are supposed to be wearing some sort of fancy costume today and I only find out at 5:30 and then I've got to run through the house and find something. That's usually how I start my day. And then my kids usually wake up about 6 and then it's all on. It's all about getting them dressed, having some breakfast, or if not, getting the right breakfast, making school lunches, and then just getting them into the car and out the door by 7. Because realistically,
7
a.m. because realistically preschool and daycare drop-offs takes me in 1 hour door to door. By the time I actually drop off my second child, it takes me 1 hour. So it's been nightmarish. And mainly because we chose to go to, so my daughter goes to a preschool over in Glebe and we live over at North Bondi. So we're doing a big trek, but it's for her benefit because it's so she can learn a second language. So
that's so important though. Like, come on, that's super important. Like, I wish my kids knew a second language. My daughter's learning Italian, but not it's not fluent. But she's obviously better than me at it because I'm not actively learning it. But if you can get them to do it before a certain age, they become that. It becomes embedded in their brain somehow. So you're doing the right thing. Keep at it.
I know. So I am trying, it was a big sacrifice, but, it's so worth it. and to watch her speak a different language. So she speaks Chinese, even though I speak Chinese. I'm just too lazy to teach her myself, so I send her to a school for teachers to teach her instead. I know, it's terrible.
But do you speak Chinese at home to her?
No. I know. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. I think I blame my husband because he doesn't speak Chinese, so therefore it's his fault that we don't speak Chinese.
So when you're having like an argument, you just go full into Chinese. You're like, that's it. I'm just speaking Chinese. You can't understand a word I'm saying, and I'm just abusing you in Chinese.
Really, I'm saying something, on the side, and I don't want him to hear, or I'm telling my mum something about something he did that I don't want him to hear about it. I speak to her in Chinese.
Oh my God.
But anyway, I think, it is definitely worthwhile. So by the time I drop off all the kids, it's basically 8 o'clock. I get into a co-working space that I've got out in the city, and then it's just meetings and hustling really through the day, and then I aim to leave usually about 3:45 to go and pick up my 2 kids, because as you know, it takes another hour to pick them all up, get them home, and it's just right on 5 o'clock and it's time for dinner. So dinners are always very, very challenging in our household. I don't know, if your kids are like this, but my 4-year-old's like, you put anything on her plate and everything she doesn't like. So I'm not sure, I don't know. Eating air might be all right, but I can't.
She's on the air diet today. Delicious. It's easy to prepare.
But it's always after you feed them dinner, which they probably had like 2 spoonfuls, and then they go, I'm really hungry. I go, well, why didn't you eat your dinner?
Yeah, why didn't you? And then you kind of go, do you just once I have sent my child to bed without dinner, she was extremely naughty on the day, and I was like, that's it, I've had enough of you, off to bed you go. And she just went to bed and slept, which was fantastic. But the mum guilt was setting. I was like, is she hungry? Oh my God, I'm such a bad parent. Why did I do that? But, she still screams at me. And so it didn't really work that well,
I don't think anybody nails mealtime. I would love to know who actually nails mealtime. I really do.
Well, I just do chicken nuggets and carrots, or, chicken nuggets and broccoli. It's always chicken nuggets or fish fingers. It's super bad.
But it's super convenient. So it's whatever you need to do to get through the day is my motto.
Exactly. So what top tips do you have for us?
So anyone who's got a daughter, you must know that in the mornings it's always a negotiation about what they wear, because what they wear is not usually sensible for weather. So to avoid that half an hour negotiation that I usually have, I make her choose the clothes the night before. So after she has a bath and before she goes to bed, she chooses whatever outfit she wants, and that's where we do the negotiating, because we've got time.
Yeah.
And so it avoids the tantrums in the morning of, I'm not going to wear my jacket today, and that shoe doesn't go with my stockings, or whatever else it is, which I think mums of daughters know this. And then for me, it's food at mealtime. Sometimes my kids, I just boil 2 eggs and I give them boiled eggs and raw carrots and corn. The simpler, the better. For some reason, I think they just eat as close to the source as possible. If you try and do too many sauces and ragouts and all that sort of stuff, they don't want to eat it. Yeah. So I just give up.
I know, but I like eating it. That's the thing. I really like these fancy meals that I make, and they just look at me like, Mum, that is the worst piece of crap you've made ever. You're getting worse, Mum. And it's like, no, actually, I'm a good cook. You just don't appreciate it.
And you've already had you've got all your chopping boards out, all your pots and pans are everywhere. You've just spent, an hour cooking this amazing meal, and they look at you like, I just want raw carrot sticks.
Yeah, come on.
I'm getting that.
My kids, you mentioned about boiled eggs. My kids even take the egg yolk out. They'll just eat the egg white. Just the egg white, which is great. It's the best part for them. But I'm just like, just eat the whole thing. Come on.
I know. It's so true. Mine does the same thing. I think it's great if you're on a protein diet, but I don't think it's so great when you're a 4-year-old child.
When you're trying to grow your entire body up, you know, I think my kids are short because of that reason, but also Ben and myself, we aren't that tall. So it could be the hereditary as well.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone in my family is really super short, and so is Jake's family. Him and his dad are the only tall people. So we always say, like, our kids are going to be so short. They've got no chance whatsoever.
There might be that freak great uncle with his tall genes, and your son might grow super tall and your daughter might stay super short.
He's hoping.
So what's the best advice you've received, Jenny?
So interesting enough, I don't know if anyone's been, but I went. Have you been to a 9 to Thrive event?
I haven't. No, I haven't, but I know Emma. Like, not personally, I know of her, so I haven't been to one of her events.
Okay, so I recently joined Business Chicks when I became a business owner myself. And
a business chick.
And I thought, what great things can I join? I love joining clubs. That's just so me. Like, I was always like that back in school, like just clubs, sports teams. Just love to be part of a team. And I found that when you started off working, by yourself, it's actually quite lonely. Like, you feel supported by your husband and you can bounce ideas, but it's not the same. Like, I miss being able to go into an office and talk to people and have like lots of different opinions and bounce things and almost like getting others to help you make a decision instead of you having to make it yourself.
Collaborating. We call that collaborating. Collaborating, brainstorming and all that fun stuff.
I miss that. So I've sort of had a look to see what sort of networking things were out there or ways of how women can support women and all of that. And so I came across Business Chicks. So I joined them recently, and then I went to their first 9 to Thrive event, and it was crazy. It was crazy because there were so many people there.
Yeah.
But it was good crazy because, like, it was literally women supporting women. We were having dance parties.
Oh,
it was
my
amazing.
God.
I know. Could you imagine just a bunch of women all getting up on chairs and dancing? That's what it looked like.
How much wine did they give you guys?
They gave a lot of wine, frosés. I had lots of frosés and cocktails were very strong.
Wow.
I know. I wish I didn't drive that day, to be honest. I think I would have had a much better time if I didn't drive. But anyway, one of the so Emma she was up on stage and I can't remember what the exact segment was, but one thing that she said really resonated with me in terms of advice. And she said, people, stop waiting. Nothing is coming. We're all sitting around thinking something's great going to drop on our lap and it's going to be there, but it's not. You've got to go out there and get it. And I go, oh my God, that is so true. I think so many of us make excuses about, I can't do it because it's not the right time, or, this is not the right time of my life, or no, that doesn't seem like it's the right thing because nobody else has done it. It's like, well, if you don't do it, you never really know, I guess. And so that really resonated with me. And so I live my everyday like that. So even if it's the hardest thing I could possibly do, and like as an example, we're currently trying to collaborate with corporates around getting them to, utilize Mynder because it's such a great platform for working parents. But it's super scary contacting these people you've never ever met who are HR directors and going, hey, what do you think? Or, being able to start a conversation with them. And I guess I could sit back and maybe wait for the day for somebody to contact me because they've read about me on LinkedIn or they've, read about me from somewhere or an article or something. But I think the reality is it's never going to come that way, is it? So I've got to actively get my butt out there and find it. So I really do believe in, and I think it's so true. So if anyone's out there just, thinking about doing something, it's not coming to you. You've got to go out and do it.
That is very true. I like that advice. So are you reading any books or watching Netflix or Stan in your spare time?
Oh, yeah, because I have so much of that. So after the kids go to sleep, I usually have about half an hour of powwow with my husband, and then it's TV time. And we watch, well, he doesn't watch with me because he would hate it if I said that he watched Real Housewives with me.
But secretly he does.
he secretly listens to in the background and goes, you know that you're getting dumber and dumber every day by watching this show.
And also,
like,
what's Carla doing right now?
Yeah. I was like, it's mindless entertainment. It's the best form of entertainment because I don't have to think about anything.
Yeah.
So I love reality TV. That's my soft spot. But I also love to watch thrillers. At the moment, we're really into The Sinner. They just had season 2 come out, and it's awesome.
Okay.
It's scary, and it's awesome, and it's like, oh, my God, what's going to happen next episode? I just want to sit there all day and just binge watch it, but I can't because I have kids.
Yeah, and they cannot watch that content.
No. I think they rather watch The Wiggles or the Fireman Sam or something. I don't know.
Okay. And are you reading any books at the moment?
I was reading Emma Isaac's Winging It.
Yeah.
I did it in like a 3-hour sitting. So one of my superpowers is I can read super quickly.
Wow.
I know. Like my husband will be on page 2 and I would have probably finished a book by then.
Did you learn to speed read?
I don't know. It must have just come naturally because I did a lot of reading.
So are you...
Do you have any superpowers?
Oh, I don't know if I've got any superpowers. Like, I find like, you know, when you're in a situation, I kind of can step out of it and put the dots together, if that makes sense. It's like going,
that's awesome.
oh, that's happening because of that. And they'll go, oh, what? I didn't even see that. So I can do kind of stuff like that. I'm not a super fast typer or anything.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're probably like someone who can like do a big picture. You're a big picture person. So you can be like, well, hold on, step back, think about this,
Kind
and this.
of do some of that. But also, I don't know. I think you'd need to ask my friends what my superpower is because I just think it's normal. Like whatever I do is normal, but it's probably not, you know.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure you've got lots of superpowers. You just don't know they're superpowers until you see someone not be able to do it, and then you're like, that's my superpower.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm always doing something. Put it that way. But in my life, if I stop doing something, like say for instance the housework, everything just starts to pile up. So maybe my superpower is just to continually work forever and always. I don't know. So let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
At night time, like what kind of meals are you cooking for yourself and your kids? I know you mentioned keeping the kids' food close to the source, which means like kind of your raw stuff and your boiled eggs. But do you do meal prep or anything like that?
So if I get time on a Sunday night, I usually will do something like a lasagna. So I pre-cook the dinner for the Monday night. So then at least I can say is just, can somebody please put it in the oven? I say somebody because I have absolutely no idea who that somebody is. But somebody.
Come on, 4-year-old, just chuck that in the oven.
Somebody put it in the oven. I don't know. Between the 4 of us, surely we can figure it out. So I do some of that when I do get time. And then otherwise for us, it's just like my husband, because he's a builder, he starts at 7 in the morning. So he usually can get home by about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I just give him instructions and tell him to put things in the oven. So oven, like I don't know what I would do without my oven. Everything we do, it's just like roast vegetables, roast lamb, roast whatever there is possible to roast, I've roasted it.
Okay.
Or barbecue. That's also the easy one because men are really good with barbecue. And so.
You just put it on the platter and you go, can you go cook this?
Yeah. That's their strength, right? So he does a lot of that as well. So, no, I must admit I don't do a huge amount of meal prep. I'm just like winging it sort of girl for the week.
No, I love that. I love winging it. It's sometimes the only way to live, right?
Yeah,
right on the
exactly.
edge. Like, so you're always on that adrenaline high, like, wow. What's one area of your life you would like to improve?
Oh, my husband's going to hate me for saying this. So I love my husband, don't get me wrong. We have a really great relationship. But surely other people must feel the same way. But I feel like you don't really just get to be like what you were like when you were just dating. You don't get those like, I don't know, like
date nights. Movie nights.
Like every time we go out now, I feel like I have to be with our friends. And I love our friends. But sometimes I just want to be with my husband. I just don't want to be with my friends all the time as well. But because, you're spending the money of going out and you're getting a babysitter, you've got to try and like cram in as many of your friends as possible to make sure, you still keep up your social life. And you're like, hey, I'm still here. Don't forget about me just because I've got 2 kids. I can still be out and about and at the pub or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like we don't get enough of that us time. So one thing I really, really want to work on is probably that, like being able to have a relationship with my husband that is, I guess you can never say it's outside your kids because your kids are part of your life, but a different sort of relationship where you can still feel like you're in your little like 20-year-old moment.
Your little bubble, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to grab my husband and kiss him for like 20 minutes and not have a care in the world.
Well, you can, but you'll have the kids going, Mummy, I want to join in on the family hug. It's like, this is not a family hug. You see this right here? It's not family orientated. X-rated.
Can you all just go to your room and read a book or something? I don't know.
Exactly. And this is a new question that I've been putting out to my guests, only because like I have a fear which is pretty psycho. So I just want to know what your greatest fear is and how you deal with it.
Failing. That definitely is my greatest fear. I think I have that fear every single day. So obviously, you know, with Mynder, we've put some of our personal finance, savings towards it. So, and I have a lot of, not guilt, but definitely pressure that I've got to do something amazing with it because, I feel like I've put my family sort of on the line a little bit, if that makes sense. So I've got a lot of fear around failing. And I guess how I manage it, I definitely don't manage it because every, second day I'm at home crying to my husband, like, am I doing the right thing? I don't know. What if this all fails and nothing comes out of it? I've just spent a year doing it and I could have been working and, all that. But I guess, for me, he's like, you can always, and I know it's not to say that I've always got a backup, but I do have a backup. If all fails, I can always go back out and, get a job and do all of that. But, he's like, you've got the time, you can go and do something that you're actually passionate about. Do you want to do something that you can do because you can do it but not really love it, or do you want to go out and do something you're passionate about and give it a real go? He was like, so what if you fail? You fail,
You'll learn from it. You will learn from that failure. If it fails, you'll learn and you'll go, next time I'll do this. Because I don't know if you would go back to your corporate job. You probably find another thing to do and go, I learnt from that and then I made this second thing better because like Mynder's still going. Like you bought it off someone, so it is successful to a point. You're just trying to like break it through to the next level. So
Exactly. So I don't know, but I feel like every day I meet such incredible women ever since I've taken on Mynder, just through networking and just through people saying, oh, you should meet this person. And I feel like that there's no such thing really as failure, I guess, like for any of us that are doing it or trying to do it. I think we're already succeeded by trying. I really do. I have to keep mentally telling myself that. So as much as I am saying this, I'm sort of preaching it, probably not actioning it myself, but I do think we're all just giving it a go and, we just got to make the best of it. And as you said, if it fails, it's not really a failure. Like I've just utilized it. It's a learning. It's like paying to go to university. That's what I'm doing this year. I'm just paying to go to university.
Instead of getting instead of getting like a business degree, you're educating yourself in how to build a business that's generating you income at the same time. I think it's smart.
Yeah.
I always try and find the silver lining in everything, right? And try and make the best of a bad situation because everyone gets bad situations. You just got to go, okay, what's the positive out of this? So one example, I was sitting on the couch with my dad and my husband because we had flown my dad over and we just sat on the couch and we were watching this like war-torn movie. It was quite depressing, but there was this one guy that the story was following through and like he just missed getting like shot at and then he just missed getting bombed at and then he just missed getting, like blown up on the beach. And I go, that guy's having the best day because he's still alive and he has survived and like he's just seen people die around him and it's a shit day, but you're still alive and you're a miracle walking, And my dad was like, oh, Jesus, Jackee, that was quite positive of you.
Yeah.
So you got to find that angle to life, I reckon.
Yeah, and it's so true. I think, we're so true. I am still, we're so blessed. Like, I've got two amazing kids. I have a really supportive husband. So I've just got to keep pushing through and just go, well, I've got great things, as you said. And I think, that's the thing. You've got to always think about the positives, even though sometimes it is much easier to dwell in the negatives.
Oh, yeah, dwell
Sometimes
away.
I just need to cry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just need to cry and get it out, and then I'm just like a completely different person.
Move on. That's what you do. Move on.
Exactly.
Okay, so I've got 3 quick questions, and then I'll let you get on with your day. Question number 1. What websites have you signed up to recently that you actually find value in receiving their emails?
Oh, God. I think you just sign up to a whole bunch of stuff, but I never actually read the emails. But if I do have a recommendation, Mynder, you should sign up to Mynder because we give really, really great advice every month. So, like this month, we're talking about tight mums and tight bums or something. So, how to being a mum, how do you get a tight bum or something? Working mums or something.
Squat.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest tip out of that was just wear your gym gear every day. It's okay because it means that you will do some sort of form of exercise. And even if when you're ready to, you can do it. So that's my recommendation.
Cool. Question number 2. What's one piece of advice you would give your pre-baby self?
Travel. For some stupid reason, before I had babies, I thought it was a really good idea to thinking that when I had kids, or I don't actually know what I was thinking. I just thought I want to have as many days as possible locked up in my little annual leave security box. And so therefore I didn't actually take much time off work. I just worked all the time. I know.
There's 2 schools of thought there, because you probably thought if I work hard now, I won't have to work as hard when I have my babies.
Yeah, probably. True.
Yeah. Plus also, like, I did exactly the same thing. I didn't do travel when I was younger. I thought I'll travel after I get married and after I have my kids and when I've actually got money, because I never wanted to do the backpacking thing.
Yeah.
Or the camping thing.
Yep, same. Oh my God, we're the same. Backpacking, camping. I'm so like, that's so not me.
Vomit Bill.
Unless it's like camping in a really luxurious cabin. That would be the only
cabin is not camping though. But I'll go to a campsite on the most expensive cabin. So bad.
That's totally me. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, travel if you can. If you don't have kids, seriously travel, because once you have kids, someone said it really well the other day. When you have kids, it's not a holiday, it's a trip or something. It's a trip. You take a trip, but you don't take a holiday.
No, the only holidays that are actual holidays are resort-style holidays with kids clubs. So they're the main holidays that I prefer to go on, but they are very expensive. So we only go on them rarely.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, final question. What is the most useful and useless baby item you have?
Most useful is my pram. I can't live without it. It's a Baby Zen yo-yo. It folds. It goes in a plane. It goes in any size car. I can carry a baby like a 14-year-old toddler.
14-year-old toddler. My goodness. 14-year-old still in the pram. Come on, little Jimmy.
14-kilo toddler
wow.
The pram, or at the same time, and it's completely doable. And the most useless baby items, people stop buying soft, fluffy toys and giving it to people when they have babies. We have no use for it. I don't need a little fluffy. I don't need 16 fluffy koala bears that people gave me when I had my babies. And what I did is actually donated them all to charity. Because surely a child out there would probably need it more than mine, who never even touched it in its entire life. So that is the most useless baby item.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today, Jenny. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome.
Excellent.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Busy Mum podcast. Don't forget to let your friends know, and also subscribe to the iTunes channel, and also my socials if you want to see what I'm getting up to. A brand new episode is out every Monday morning, just like clockwork.